Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from Switzerland is Cristina Cranga. Hey, Cristina, welcome to the show.
Hello, Vasco. Such an honor to be here with you and your listeners.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
A pleasure to have you here. So Cristina is a human, and I can vouch for that because I'm looking at her, and we did all the AI tests. No, not really.
I'm organic. I can assure you. So yes.
She's also an innovation enthusiast with a curious mind, always learning new things. Sometimes a dreamer and a restless soul. Her mission in life is helping people thrive. She has a background in psychology and an experience in supporting the implementation of multiple IT software projects in complex digital ecosystems with different technologies at an international level. How these two worlds can shape a professional? Well, let's discover it. That's a great tease, and also a great follow-up or lead to the question, how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master, from psychology to Scrum Mastering?
Yeah, especially Scrum Master within IT software development companies. So IT services, that's a big leap, sort of speaking. So I end up in consultancy business, and the standard role that assigned to you, most of the consultancy company at that time, it was 2018. Usually they assign the role of a product or project manager. So it was the first assignment in PMO, but I noticed that what the most skill required is actually the communication and the interaction with people within teams and stakeholders. So I was like transitioning in the role of a Scrum Master in a very natural way. I realized that I am qualified kind of to apply for a Scrum Master role. Scrum Master experience, it's a facilitated job. So it was natural for me because I had a very strong background in what is called soft skills at the time. Now I think the term, the most preferred term right now, I think it's human skills.
Oh yeah, especially with AI, right? Like
especially with AI. Exactly right.
It's interesting because I interviewed someone for the podcast a while back that was reflecting on the impact of mindfulness in mental health. But he was also asking a very important question, which is, what happens in the world when AI knows your triggers better than you do? And this is something we are still debating, right? And we're still discovering, for that matter, what that would cause. Okay, but that's for another, maybe a bonus episode on the psychology of AI. Today's Monday here on the podcast, Cristina, so we want to explore rather a story of failure, not because we like to dwell on failure, but because failure is very often, when looked at with the proper distance, a master and a teacher. And we need to learn, of course. So tell us that story, Cristina. Walk us through the steps. What was going on? Who you were talking to? What events unfolded? And why would you call that a failure today?
Well, failure, I think, should be reframed as term. I would reframe it with lesson learned. It's better. It's psychologically speaking, it's an inviting approach, kind of. But anyways, yeah, you need to call things as they are. So where I sense that I should have done probably better, it's what I call decision hallucinations. And I'm going to involve this because for the listener, it might be as you mentioned a very hyped term, hallucination. But yeah, what is the hallucination actually? It's the perception of something not real or not present. Okay, and I call it the decision hallucination because it reflects one of my experience that I had in the last working experiences that I had. So it's rather connected to the matrix environments that we have nowadays as companies. So usually it comes with a cultural baggage that we have, company culture baggage that we have. And then the key of this story is the decision process and the ownership. Now, why I'm saying this? Because as Agile practitioner, you didn't you didn't show up in metrics or ceremonies. But in the decision process and ownership process. So
so what you're saying is that as Agile practitioners, we are not doing our work only in the retrospectives or ceremonies or something like that. We are doing our work also in supporting, facilitating, and sometimes leading the decision processes.
That's correct. Yes. So what happened here is that most of the time there were situations that I've heard my colleagues complaining or expressing the pain points actually that they don't have the ownership on that. So most of the lines were like, we can change this because it's already decided. We have the priority. The priority comes from the top level. The scope is fixed. The deadline is necessary to be delivered by the end of X month, and so on. So it's painful to hear in a nutshell that they have to do it. They don't have a choice. They have to do it. So this is most of the lines that are punching me right now, as a recall of what was the experience that now we are talking about. What is called failure. But what is fascinating about this, everyday conversation almost, is the impact of the team behavior. And what you realize that it limits options of the team and choices, as I mentioned. So over time, what I notice is that teams, they stop testing reality.
Okay, can you translate that into some practical example? What do you mean when you say teams stop testing reality?
So, for example, I encourage them to ask questions. And not just ask questions, ask better questions. And for example, one of the questions is it an assumption-based decision, or is it an explicit and shared choice? For example, these are these are a couple of examples that I have as that I understand as better question, of course. But all in one, Vasco, is the pain point and the root cause might be the conversational level. I call it conversational level because they stop having a conversational layer activated with the stakeholders.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that they are not checking their view of reality against the stakeholders' view of reality through this continuous conversation.
Correct. This continuous cycle of conversation. So they have what we call perceived reality versus the reality, and it has a real impact on team ownership and decision making process. And they optimize, execution around constraints that might no longer exist. And this when I noticed that the agility silently disappear, but not because of the control. I mean, because teams are reacting to how I called imaged boundaries or decision hallucinations. That's the term that I came with.
I like the hallucination because it's a very common problem that we act on assumptions without ever testing them.
Yeah.
Thinking that somebody somewhere has made a decision that we have to act this way, right?
Yeah. And when hallucinations, decisions are exposed, because sooner or later they are exposed, something beautiful, powerful happens with the teams. And what I noticed is that options reappear. That's the number one side effect. Conversations change. The level of conversation change. Teams realize that they are constrained by perception than by reality. And I did an interesting test with some of my teams. I don't know if you know the image that it's called old women versus young women. Or the other image is called duck versus rabbit. Is in psychology we use these images for describing perceptions. But what is interesting with these, two powerful images is that you might see one reality. Our brain is not designed to see two realities at the same time. So yeah, it was.
That's a wonderful. I think a very visual. Yeah, I'll put the link to the images because they are very telling. It's a very visual and a wonderful way to tell us that our view of reality is always limited by something. We may not even know what is limiting it, but it is limiting it so that we only see one possible reality, even though there might be multiple possible realities happening at the same time. And a simple way to describe this is that the reality of a developer in the team is different than the reality of a tester in the team, which is different from the reality of the Scrum Master, the team lead, the stakeholders, the product owner, etc., etc. Yeah. I really love the reality testing mantra. I'm going to use that a lot from now on. So if you don't mind, I'm going to steal that. I'll give you credit for it, but I think reality testing is something I'm definitely going to use.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that story with us, Cristina.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books. And if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.